Eleana's Everything. Today, I'm taking you on an exciting adventure with Argosy Cruises, where the beauty of Seattle meets the thrill of discovery. Buckle up, or should I say, life vest on, because we're about to embark on a cruise like no one other. Our journey begins with the Luxe Cruise, a mesmerizing exploration of Seattle's waterways. Check out these ticket prices, which is affordable for everyone. So whether you're a seasoned traveler or new to the city, there's a spot for you. As we set the sail, prepare to be awestruck by the breathtaking sights that unfold before your eyes. Seattle's iconic landmarks, the captivating history, and the sparkling waters. It's all here for you to soak in. And guess what? In just a few minutes, you'll have the chance to hear some insider info from our fabulous tour guide. Get ready for an unforgettable experience.
About me enjoying the tour experience would be the bar. I think we already gave a plug on the bar, so I won't dwell on that too much, other than say that you've got Lars as your bartender. He's absolutely fantastic, and even if you don't want anything from him, please feel free to stop by the bar and just say hello. He'll be happy to chat with you, especially if he's not busy. But if you would like a beer or a glass of wine or anything else, all the better. He'd really like to help you with that as well. Some quick safety information for you. You need to know that the boat you're on, the Good Time 3, is fully licensed and certified by the Coast Guard for commercial passenger service. The boat you're on is licensed to carry up to about 250 passengers. So not to worry, not nearly that many of you on board with us today. In terms of your life jackets and their locations, if you're inside, they're overhead. On the first deck, above the ceiling tiles. On the second deck, if you look up, you can see them. Basically, in the event of shipboard emergency, your crew would come through the cabin. They drop those life jackets down to the deck, along with instructions. So it's your responsibility. Just pay attention. So listen to your crew for those instructions and follow them and provide assistance if asked to do so. Also know that here on the Good Time 3, we're fully equipped with life rafts as well. Your crew is trained to deploy them in an emergency. It's much more likely that at some point during the tour you'll find yourself looking for a restroom. Our heads are located in the lower deck aft. That means downstairs and all the way towards the back of the boat. We've got a great day for you for a cruise. It's a little bit overcast, not quite as sunny as what we've become used to, but there's no rain and there's no wind either, which is really nice. So we're going to have a real smooth ride. That being said, once we get out onto open water, we will be sharing the water with other large vessels, freighters, ferry boats, barge traffic, whatever it happens to be out there. And some of those vessels can really throw up big waves. So you need to be ready for that. At any given moment, the boat can start rolling pretty aggressively. And once it starts rolling, sometimes it'll continue to roll for a while. So as long as you're paying attention, you'll be fine. That includes those of you that are seated in your chairs. You just don't want anyone to take trouble. So even if you're sitting in a chair, just be careful. And certainly be using the stairs to use those handrails. They're there for a reason. But otherwise, it's going to be a great trip. And there's a lot going after there today, so it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see the big broadcast towers up on top of it. We'll see Queen Anne Hill later on in the trip, and I'll tell you more about it towards the very end. On our right, though, a hill we're only going to see while we're here on the lake. This is Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill, one of Seattle's many neighborhoods. Might even be the most famous of its neighborhoods. Certainly, really the hub of nightlife here in the area. That sort of thing. Many musical venues up there. You know, many Seattle musicians got their starts there on Capitol Hill. People like Jimi Hendrix, Sir Mix-a-Lot, Macklemore, 𝙁𝙬𝘾𝙄𝘼𝙎, Nirvana, Pearl Jam. Many Seattle bands, of course. That was largely clustered during the grunge boom, but they largely got their start there playing gigs in Capitol Hill. So you'll also find a place called Volunteer Park, the home of the Seattle Asian Art Museum. A lot of great plants up there. It's also where swimming in the water is trying to cool off. The Lake Union Ride-Out Company, they are still here. They're one of the oldest operating industries here on the lake. They were able to play both sides of prohibition, kind of kick off their business. Of course, back in the 20s, alcohol production and sale was banned here in the United States. People still were feeling pretty
so they called out to the Canadians, and people were more than happy to bring alcohol down from Canada. The best way to do that was by boat. And so the bootleggers would come to the shipyard and say, hey, we need a boat they're able to stock up on that, very successful, and they have a brand new. Now, of course, what Lake Union is probably most famous for is its floating homes. Your first Canadian floating homes are on the right-hand side of the page, the neighborhood of East Lake. I say a
from one side to the other, and that's what their purpose and that's what their function is. There's three parts to this locking system. There's the large lock to our right, the small lock that we're currently in, and then the spillway dam just on our left-hand side. Same. They're almost identical. Ours is just smaller. Just like Panama, this is all a gravity flow operation. That means no pumps are being used for the transfer of water. Instead, there are pipes built into the walls on either side of us with simple valves. Winging those gates open for us, we'll be able to continue on our way. As I mentioned, these are the busiest locking systems in the nation. About 70,000 boats coming through here each year. This is a federal operation, so no fees are levied on the boats coming through here. We do come through here free of charge. The locks also serve as kind of a popular park in our region. They're not a park, so don't really think of them as a park, but it's free to visit. You come here, the gates are open, you come in the morning and hang out, you get to check out the salmons and fish ladder, or just watch the boats as they come and go. It's a lot of fun, easy way to pass an afternoon. Locks are popular with both visitors from out of town as well as locals. Well, there you go. The gates are opening. We'll be underway momentarily. Shortly, you'll get Ryan back on the microphone. Enjoy the remainder of your tour. Welcome to saltwater.
Railway counterweight bridge number 4. It is a train bridge. Trains are the only vehicles that can cross it. I guess trains and rail maintenance vehicles. The counterweight weighs 1 million pounds. It's off the north side of the bridge, off our right-hand side here. It's so finely balanced that they have a 1 horsepower motor to operate the bridge. Beginning of the season, of course, commercial fisheries get a chunk. The recreational fisheries get a chunk as well. And then the Coast Salish people, they have a select section of the quota as well, and they're the ones who are fishing using nets here on the waterways. There isn't really a whole lot of commercial fishing that goes on the Sound anymore. Mostly commercial to San Juan Islands, head over to some of our other ports on the far side of the Sound, places like 𝙁𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼𝙎 and such. It's pretty common to find their small cruise ships. And then, of course, 1,400 boats docked back behind it, including 300 liveaboards. Now, a liveaboard is sort of the way up to Alaska. Our cruise ship season will continue on here through the end of October. So we've still got about a month and a half left to go, but it's definitely winding down. During the peak in July, we see about 2 ships leaving port every. There's another major world event going on at the time, that being the First World War, where the airplane was quickly making itself known as a potentially viable way to attack a stationary target from the sky. The Navy quickly realized that having their fleet stationed behind a single concrete wall and having them in a large chamber made of concrete for large portions of time to get them out probably wasn't the best move. So instead they moved their fleet elsewhere, and Sandpoint was reconfigured as one of the earliest naval air stations here in the United States. The Navy's famous round-the-world flight initially departed from Sandpoint. But Fort Lawton remained in military control. Recently entered service. The engines are manufactured 1.9 million people would be willing to spend a lot of money to stay there. So they went about building it. All those people showed up, 0 checked all that well. The chef certainly got sick of people bringing the Mississippi River. It remained the tallest building here in Seattle until the completion of the Space Needle in 1962. So in terms of Seattle, for sure, it was certainly a building well ahead of its time. Japan may be flown into Osaka's Kansai Airport, but is also built out on an artificial island as well. But to the left of the gantry cranes, you can see there's one little tower sticking up above kind of the line where the rest of the city is, about to pass behind 2 at the dock, and use the still functioning parts to keep her sister ship, Polar Star, running. But in her heyday, Polar Sea could break through ice over 20 feet thick, and while maintaining her normal cruising speed, ice up to 6 or 7 feet thick would not even phase her. The Polar-class icebreaker's primary mission is the annual resupply of the McMurdo Research Station down in Antarctica. Now the buildings between Lumen Field and Smith Tower here off our right, this is Pioneer Square, this is where Seattle really started out, this is where the Great Seattle Fire took place. But of course, when we rebuilt the city, we learned our lesson. We rebuilt it out of brick rather than wood. The city has not burned down since. Now, one thing that they did a little differently, rather than clearing out all the rubble, they just built the new city up on top of the old city. So Seattle used to sit about 15-20 feet lower than it does today. Of course, the buildings closest to the waterfront, you wouldn't have been able to build there prior to the raising of the whole city. But that means that the old city that burned down still exists underneath the new city. Now, I did say if we got a good close-up look at our Washington State ferries, I'd mention a little bit about the boats themselves, and we have been able to pull that off. Off our right-hand side, we'll be passing by the MV Walla Walla. The Walla Walla is Washington State Ferry's Golden Girl this year. If you look at her smokestack, you'll see that gold stripe up there. She entered service in 1973. So back in February, she received that gold stripe to commemorate her 50 years of dedicated service to Washington State Ferries, as every single one of our ferries does on their 50th birthdays. She's getting ready to make her next trip out to Bremerton, which is where one of our Navy stations is located here in the region. The Walla Walla is one of the very largest ships in the fleet, close to 450 feet long, and can accommodate nearly 200 cars on her deck. So we can look all the way through the boats. The cars docked there on the car deck, and then they have saddle ramps on the sides as well to fit extra cars up on a second level. And those are the boats that serve as our marine highway here in the region rather than the bridges.
That we have arrived here. Pier 55 will be heading in shortly. We're going to let the tour boats here in Seattle pull out, and as soon as they have, we'll go ahead and make our approach in on the pier. Once again, your tour guide today was Ryan. He did such a great job. Really hope you enjoyed his tour and his narration. Once we get in, he's going to get the lines on.
So, are you ready to embark on this adventure with me? Head over to argosycruises.com, which is the website, to book your tickets and get ready to experience Seattle like a true local. Stay tuned for more fun and excitement on my vlog. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the adventure with your fellow explorers. See you next time. Eleana's everything. God bless and take care. Bye.